This video is sponsored by our store. We sell t-shirts and posters and phone cases, and if you're interested, there's a link in the description. Today we are talking about ToneCity's Fuxx Fuzz pedal. Now, I've had this pedal for quite a while. I've used it in my old band a lot. So I was playing guitar and I was only using fuzzers. So I would use a big muff and I would use this. I would run them through two amps. So one amp would get the big muff and one amp would get this. Now, something I want to mention off the bat here is this fuzz pedal sounds great in certain applications, and I want to emphasize that because it doesn't sound great in all applications. Two main reasons for that. The first is that it's producing a hell of a lot of high end. Now that's kind of good for certain applications where you're wanting that really like just high fuzziness and it sounds awesome. And I was able to use that quite effectively by using the big muff as my other pedal because the big muff is quite warm, it's quite deep. It sounds really nice when you've got some kind of like lows and mids in it, whereas this is the exact opposite. So I was able to balance the two. This was providing the high frequencies and the big muff was providing the low frequencies. That being said, if you were just going to use this on its own, it has very specific characteristics that you kind of can't get rid of. So it has a turn knob, and I would argue that the turn knob is almost entirely useless. Not because it doesn't do much, if anything because it does too much. Like I have it around like 9-10 o'clock. And it kind of has to stay there because if you go anywhere near 12 o'clock and like 12 o'clock all the way down to like 6, so all the way down that right hand side, it's just high-end fuzz. It's not that it's unusable, it's that in most songs it's just never going to work. If you go all the way down, it's sort of warm, but you'd be better off with a big muff if you wanted some form of warm fuzz. So really, I have it sit around like 9-10 o'clock and it sort of stays there no matter the application because that's the only area where the tone range is actually kind of alright. That kind of goes along with the gain knob. Now the gain knob does add a lot of gain and sort of take a lot away, but because it's so noisy, you're always sort of getting a lot of fuzz. It's just you either have a lot of fuzz or a lot of fuzz. And along with that, it comes with a crazy switch. There's a toggle that just says crazy and it adds way more high-end harmonics. So the way that fuzz pedals work is sort of like distortion. They're adding harmonics that weren't previously there. And the crazy mode basically adds way more. Like you can't play more than one string because of the amount of harmonics that are going on kind of crazy. Like if you try and play a chord while crazy's on, you just get this harmonic dissonance because there's so much going on when just one note is played that multiple notes just is completely overwhelming. Again, this might be something that you want, but also it might not be. There is also a volume knob. Now, normally you would use this to get a balance between multiple pedals. So if I'm running the big muff and I'm running the Fuxx, I have to sort of, get them at a right volume. So when I turn them both on, they're roughly the same volume because that's what I want when I'm running two amps. The issue is that the sound output of this is so quiet, I have to have it on full at all times and balance all my other pedals to this, which was incredibly limiting, and it's the reason why this is not currently part of my pedal board, because it just doesn't output loud enough. It's like brick walled at a certain volume, and there is nothing that you can do to get it past it. And that makes it quite limiting compared to other pedals because other pedals have way louder outputs. So if you're running the same signal through this and a big muff, or any other distortion pedal to be fair, you can get the big muff getting way more volume output than you can this, which wouldn't normally be an issue unless you're going clean as well, which means that you can't just turn the amp up that this is going to. If I'm running this to an amp and I'm running the big muff to an amp, this has got a quieter volume. So you could say, okay, so just turn that amp up. That's all well and good, but as soon as I go clean, all of a sudden the amp this is going through is way louder than the other amp. It's an issue. Without just getting another pedal to adjust the volume after it, I don't know the solution. It's not ideal. So my honest opinion for this pedal is it's probably quite good for recording. In a live setting, you really have to tailor everything else on your pedal board to it, and that can be really tedious. So if that's something that you don't want, I would say don't go for this pedal. If you want something that's got really over the top high-end fuzz and can be really crazy, this will be perfect for you. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to get a fuzz pedal and that's just going to serve all of your fuzz needs. If you have a big muff, this is the exact opposite of that. So it's kind of nice to have that balance, but at the same time, it's really tedious. So yeah, maybe you just want to stick to it for recording. I would say that's pretty ideal. You can sort of tailor it exactly how you want. And also it's got some low-end buzzing going on it. I will show it you in this next example, but there's quite a lot of low-end buzz. It's manageable in recording software because you can sort of get rid of it, but in a live setting, you've just got a lot of low-end noise coming out of your amp, and there's nothing you can do about it unless you've got like an EQ pedal where you can get the specific frequencies out. Most people don't, so yeah, just be aware of that. This is hard work to use. It might be worth it because it is really good, but it's hard work. That being said, this pedal is incredibly cheap. It's also incredibly small. Like, this will take up maybe the amount of space of a quarter of a normal pedal. And if you're talking big pedals, even less than that. It's so small and cheap that it's sort of worth getting if you've got the spare cash and you're sort of interested. I haven't tried many other ToneCity pedals. I plan on doing so because they may all have this same issue. So if you build an entire board of just ToneCity stuff, maybe they balance each other quite well. I'm not sure, but I hope that this video was helpful in your decision as to whether or not to get this pedal. It's tedious, but it's also quite cool. Thank you very much for watching this video. Like 90% of people that watch this channel aren't subscribed. So if you would like to do so, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video.